From antique and vintage masterpieces to cutting-edge contemporary collectible design, discover how to bring history, character and elegance into modern spaces. I'm Nina Coulter, Head of Savills London Residential Developments, and we're here in North London to meet Tatjana von Stein, the visionary behind a design studio known for its intuitive and dynamic interiors. Let's go speak to Tatjana and learn more about the timeless appeal of collectible design. Can you tell me a bit more about your interior design journey?
My journey started in the creative industries very early on, so I actually started my career in documentaries and short films and then slowly moved towards concepts, so hotel concepts, retail concepts, etc. So to be honest, I completely fell into the world of design.
Your French and German heritage, how has that influenced your style?
Very unconsciously, and I think with age I'm only seeing how much it's been influencing me. Because we started off mostly in hospitality, then mixed use and now super prime residential developments. You know, we're always very narrative led, so we really try and decipher the brand, the audience, the building and come up with something that's unique as a design solution for this particular brief.
I think people do feel a bit nervous when they're trying to incorporate antiques and vintage, you know, and especially in a modern space. How can you help them do that? How do you create this?
Well, I think it's layers. I think it's layering, particularly in modern buildings. I think adding vintage and antiques pieces really adds character and adds a certain kind of materiality to it that has age and narrative and storyline, so it just brings a lot of, I think, integrity in the space as well. Antiques are considered 100-year plus and everything in between is vintage, but to be honest, they both have provenance and they both have just a lot of history attached to them. So it's really just a question of age, but in the end of the day, I think they're saying the same. It's celebrating past designers.
So what is collectible design?
Collectible design is really a vast term because it comprises contemporary craft, contemporary collectibles, antiques, vintage pieces. I mean, I think what they all have in common is they're collected by people and they're collected from an investment purpose. But more often than not, especially contemporaries, they're also collected from an emotional point of view. These pieces are all part of our collection, which I launched maybe 18 months ago. I suppose I'm very inspired by different art forms. So here they're inspired by the art of dance and movement and the bodily form. So you can see this in the coffee table in its kind of organic shapes and angle elements. The dining table and side tables in particular have these dancer leg positions with metal inserts, which kind of really reflected that spine for me. Pivoting panels, which were very much inspired by the pirouette. So when we launched them, we had these dancers behind them. But all this to say that they all have movement within them, and I think that goes back to the idea of collectibles and the narratives they bring.
So for those that are watching, how do you mix that old and new? Kind of what's the actual advice and tips you can bring?
I think first of all, not having too many rules is really important. The unhelpful guidance I will give is go with your gut feeling. But I think, you know, when it comes to collectibles, whether they're contemporaries or whether they are past, you need to have an emotional reaction to them, the same way you have an emotional reaction to a piece of art. Mixing is key, falling in love is another one, and finding a little common thread perhaps.
You've recently completed a super prime project, 60 Curzon. Can you tell me some more about that?
Yes, we did. We loved this project. It really brought together all the different worlds we discussed today, so I look forward to showing it to you.
This place is beautiful. How did you source some of these unique pieces?
It's a mix of, you know, fellow contemporary designers, whether they're British or American, a lot of our kind of furniture collection, which we discussed early on, and then you've got these kind of old Czech successionist nearly chairs, which have been reupholstered by C.C. Moulton, who do this beautiful peach moire, which honestly reminds me of my grandmother's flat in Paris. Then you've got this kind of wonderful sculptural metal piece behind us. So wherever you look, there are always these little moments, and I think that's what's so wonderful in any design, whether it's a home or hospitality, is to always create these little moments of interest.
So from the start of this project, when you were kind of thinking about the brief, were you given a brief or how did that work?
Well, I think we were left with an amazing heritage, which was Thierry Despons' Art Deco style, really, which you can see throughout the amenities. And the minute you walk through that entrance, you're transported into a different era, which we took this as a starting point, and the brief was, of course, to nod to it, but also have our own design approach and, of course, bring it into a contemporary world as well. So it's really a mix of all of those. And I think without having an actual buyer at the end, you really have to think about it. In our case, we were really trying to invent this character, so we started designing around this character. And, you know, speaking to the various teams around the project, it felt like this could be more of a secondary or third home. And if you decide to live in the heart of Mayfair, you're certainly someone who has a passion for art and design, entertainment, the members club, the restaurant scene, etc. So, you know, we really thought this is really an entertainer's home to a certain extent.
For someone that's starting out their own design project, what's your advice for them if they were about to brief their interior designer?
More than anything, I think it's really important to take some time to think of how you really want to feel in it. And from my side, I respond so well, at least, to words and music and all of these different things that will educate us and give us a brief to really come back to you with a design concept based on their feelings, based on the context, the narrative. I think the issue when you start going down the Pinterest board imagery is before you've even thought about it, you're just selecting images you quite like, and then it gets very confusing because there's so many. And more importantly, we want to create something unique to you that doesn't exist.
We've covered a lot today. We've learned about collectible design, antiques and vintage. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I loved it. It's a subject I love and I could keep talking about. So, and also, you know, it's a subject we can keep learning about. That's what's so fascinating about it.